Hi guys, welcome to Hyphen London. We are the faces behind the brand. Today, myself and Ola are going to be talking about 12 different ways we use our notebooks.
So one of the things that myself and Ibby are always talking about is the different ways you can utilise your notebook. So we thought we'd do a different spin on the whole concept of 12 days of Christmas and come to you guys with 12 different ways that you can use your notebook. So we'd really love for you guys to get involved. Let us know if there's any particular way that you use your notebook. And then also if you get any ideas from us, let us know if you start to use your notebook in that sort of way as well.
So one way I use my notebook is by journaling. I like to write down anything I'm feeling, any events that's happened. At the moment I'm reflecting over 2020 and writing down what I've learned from 2020. I journal sometimes daily, sometimes weekly. It's very therapeutic. Sometimes in situations where I'm not able to express how I feel, so journaling actually helps me to reflect and then think of a way forward to deal with a situation. So sometimes I go back and read what I've written. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's good to relieve certain memories.
So one of the things that I love recording in one of my notebooks is the funny things that my kid says. So I have two little boys, but my 4-year-old constantly has us in stitches. He's always making me laugh. People always say that the time goes really quickly when you're raising kids. So I just want to make sure I capture all the best moments and all the funny things that he says. So I like to record everything. Like literally, I just have a notebook in my front room, and as soon as he says something funny, I grab it and I quickly write it down before I forget it. I think I want to be able to actually hand it to my son when he's older. So I'm really sentimental. I'm really into kind of keeping things that have meaning to me. And obviously we know that with this kind of digital age, things get lost. So I just keep a hard copy because I want to physically give him the notebook and show him, look, this is all the hilarious stuff that he used to say.
I also use my notebook for meetings. So I have a notebook. I think that's the only notebook I keep separate. I have a notebook for Hyphen London meetings. So myself and Ola, we meet regularly, speak regularly about Hyphen. So any meetings that I have, any plans for Hyphen, I have a special notebook for that.
Ooh, this is one of my favourite things to do. I love to capture my favourite sentences from books. So I'm a bookworm, I'm an avid reader, I love reading, and I like to have a way to record some of my favourite sentences from books that I've read. I also kind of keep a list as well in the same notebook of all the books I've read. I'm trying to kind of keep a record so that I can look back over time and see some of the books that I've read through the years. But yeah, I like to capture my favourite sentences, and there's some authors who just have a gift and a knack for articulating things in a certain way, so I like to record that. One of my favourite sentences is from Zadie Smith's book on beauty, and the quote says, "You can't get meaning from the world, you have to give the world meaning." So I love that. Yeah, I like to record all my favourite quotes from books that I've read.
Another way I use my notebook is journaling, but journaling a line a day. So where I don't have time to write pages and pages of what I'm thinking or how I'm feeling or what I've been through, I do something called a line a day and literally put down what has happened in my day in a line in my notebook. And that's really, really effective for me to just capture what I've done, and it's an oversight of how my day has been.
So one of the ways I love to use my Hyphen notebook is to record the key takeaways from events and webinars. So I listen to a lot of webinars, I attend quite a few events for work. So I like to just record the most salient points, things that are important that I want to remember for later, any calls to actions, any key things that I need to take away and look into afterwards.
One way I use my notebook is by capturing my sermon notes. So I love writing, obviously, but when I attend church or I watch online services, or listen to any online messages, I usually make notes and I use my Hyphen London notebook for that.
I love writing down prayers for my family. So for my husband and my 2 kids, I like to record all the different things I'm praying about. And of course, you know, when friends ask you to pray for them and you don't actually do it, but I like to make sure that I remember to pray for people when they ask. So I record different things that people have asked me to pray about as well. And then I also write down scriptures to kind of marry up with the prayers. So I'll write down the prayer point or the prayer request and then a scripture, and I'll combine the 2 together and I'll just make a note of it. And it's also a good way to kind of look back and see the prayers that God has actually answered. So it's nice to have a record of that. So yeah, that's one of the ways that I love to use my notebook.
I use my Hyphen London notebook to capture my to-do list. So what I do for my to-do list is have my must-dos. So I try not to put a lot of things down on my must-dos, but those are the things that I need to do in that week or that day. And then I also have my nice to-dos. So if I do have any free time, I should, attempt to complete those tasks. So it's really helpful for me because I can see what's outstanding in the week, and I can also do like a highlight of my month. So my to-do list notebook, I kind of capture my highlights for the month, any challenges I have for that month. I regularly have a look at my to-do list during the week. Also, at the end of each day, I check to see if I have completed all the tasks that I need to complete for that day, and also for the week. And if I haven't completed it, I will move it forward till the next week. Or if, for example, if I'm doing a job application and I've missed a deadline, then I've missed the deadline. In my to-do list, in my notebook, I capture my to-do on a weekly basis. So I'll have the weekly to-do list, and at the end of each month I also write a couple of sentences, any highlights of the month. So what went well, what was amazing in that month. I also capture in a few lines again, not in massive detail, any challenges I faced in that month. It's just a good way of keeping track of what's happened, especially with this pandemic. I feel like every day is rolled into the other, so keeping track of what I've done is really important.
So just like with events and webinars, I like to write down all the key things that I take away from podcasts. I listen to loads of podcasts and I just like capturing some of the key things that I think are important. So yeah, that's one of the ways that I love to use my notebook, just capturing the most important things that I take away from podcasts.
I write down quotes and scriptures in my notebook. So with scriptures, I like to have a topic. So for example, I'll use the topic anxiety, and if I come across any scriptures that relate to anxiety, or if I search for scriptures that relate to anxiety, I write it down and I'm able to reflect on those scriptures, and I'm able to just encourage myself with the word. If I'm feeling anxious about anything, if I'm feeling low, I really use the scriptures to uplift me and to also learn scriptures. With quotes, I write down quotes that I find inspirational, quotes that I like, quotes that I've stumbled across, and I just capture them in my notebook as a memory.
So one of the ways that I love to use my notebook as well is to record research notes. So I read a lot of articles, I write articles as well around political instability and conflict in Africa. So because I read a lot of journals, a lot of things that I can find online, I like to have one place where I capture all of it. And I would say that I love one of our soft leather notebooks in particular because I know that the pages are really thick and the ink doesn't bleed through to the other side, and of course it lays flat. And because I write kind of vigorously and I'm heavy-handed, it's perfect for that.
Thank you for listening to the 12 different ways we use our notebooks. We really hope that you have learned a thing or two, and we really hope that you participate and tell us how you use your notebooks.
And we think it's also important to take this time to say thank you so much for all the support during this past year. We've been totally overwhelmed with all the orders that we've received, the support that you guys have given us. You've totally exceeded our expectations. So thank you so much for supporting our brand. It means the world to us.
And on that note, from us at Hyphen London, we just want to say a big Merry Christmas. We really hope that you enjoy your break, and we will see you in 2021.